Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make sure that your sales reps are only speaking to prospects that are qualified. The way we're able to do this is with a strategy called scoring, and I'm going to show you exactly how to build a scoring system yourself inside of Clay. The reason why this is so important is because your sales rep's time is precious. Anyone on your team's time is super precious. So you don't want your sales rep to be wasting time speaking with people who are unqualified to even work with you to begin with. Because we're not offering free consulting here. We're trying to sell our products and services. This strategy is going to help maximize your sales reps time. And before we jump into it, if you don't know me, my name is David Shmula. I'm the founder of Outbound Partners. We are a lead generation, sales automation, and Clay implementation company. We build systems like this for companies in such a wide variety of industries that I'm not even going to try to list it. Now, on to more important things. Let's jump into the table and I'll show you exactly how to score companies and make sure that they're qualified for your sales reps to speak with. Okay, so this table is a demo table that's built for us. And as I mentioned, we're a lead generation, sales automation, and Clay implementation company. So what we have here is data coming in. Then it goes through a whole bunch of enrichments, which I'll jump into some of them in just a moment. Then it spits out a score here. Let me close this. And then after that, after it takes a score, it pushes it into our CRM. And now inside of our CRM, we have other notifications and other filters and views that only take the highest ranked people, people above a certain score number, and shows that to our sales reps. Again, to make sure that we are getting the best value from our employees' times. Okay, I can't stress this enough. If you have 50 people coming in and 25 of them are unqualified, but your sales reps are speaking to everyone, they're wasting 50% of their time. But we can't have that. Waste of time, waste of money. So let's jump into this. And let me show you how this is actually done in practice. So we'll click here, we'll click edit. Let's see here. This one is empty. So in this particular example, what I'm going to show you here is what we're actually using to score the prospective customers. And then I'll show you a couple of the enrichments as well, like how we're actually scoring it. But really this video is just to show you how to set up a scoring system. I'm going to jump over this and then I'm going to come back. So the way we're scoring customers or prospective customers is based on size, based on job level, based on location, based on revenue range, based on company orientation, B2B, B2C, based on estimated total addressable market. And that is it. And why would I want to score people on these things? So we're a lead generation company, as I mentioned, and we want to work with companies that have a certain size. Working with bigger companies is typically preferable to us. We also want to speak with people who are of a certain level of decision-making capability, as opposed to speaking with an entry-level associate, which there's no problem with, but we're going to weight a key decision maker higher than we're going to weight a non-key decision maker. So again, like a secretary will have a lower, depending on the company. For us, as lead generation people and sales automation people, speaking to a secretary is going to be a tougher sale. Speaking to a head of sales or an executive is going to be a better sales process for us. But again, this really depends on the types of products and services you're selling. So you just have to know who the key decision maker is for you. Then we also would rather work with people in the US, so we rank them higher. And we want to naturally work with companies that have higher revenue ranges, so those will get ranked higher. And we work with B2B almost exclusively, so this will rank higher. And we could actually have set this up that if it was B2C, it would just end the whole automation right then and there. But in this particular case, we still wanted to bring them into our system because we do offer B2C services, just B2B is typically our preferred domain. And then as a lead generation company, the larger the total addressable market, the better. So the higher the TAM, the better fit it is for us. And that's that. So that's a little explanation as to why we chose these different things. And ultimately, what the scoring system is going to do is it's going to go and based on all these different criteria and scoring, numbers that we set, it's going to add it up and then it's going to push out a score. So we know here that this company is going to be a better fit than this company. And that's ultimately what we're looking for. Because then we can have a view within our CRM that has a lower threshold and says, hey, I'm not even going to show our sales reps anyone who's below a 70 because it's going to be a waste of their time. Okay, so let's jump into the next layer here. And that is going to be the actual keywords and the scores. So the way this works is this lines up with this lines up with this. So when you're putting your scoring system in, and if you don't have a good way of doing this, simply ask ChatGPT or Claude and help them develop a scoring system for your particular use case. And they'll give you some really good insights and frameworks on how to do this. So for here, we have companies with over 1,000 employees, they get a 10, 200 to 1,000, they get a 5, 11 to 200, they get a 3, 1 to 10, they get a 1. So I think it's pretty straightforward. So for every keyword, you need to associate a score to it. All right. Same thing here. We have job category response, which comes from one of the enrichments. And we basically took the job titles and we categorized it into keywords, key categories that we can then create a scoring system. Because as you can imagine, there are so many different job titles. It could be vice president of sales and operations, vice president of sales for machine learning products. And we wanted to lump that into a general category so it makes our scoring process more simple. And I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. So that's how this whole thing works here. But the key thing I want to share with you is when you're doing this, it'll make your life a lot easier to categorize it into buckets. Same thing with location. We categorize it into these 3 buckets: USA, Europe, or other. Revenue range is also categorized into buckets so that we can, associate it better. I think everything else is pretty self-explanatory. So that is how scoring works. And, like I said, the key is just to spit out a good number. But why don't we jump into a few of these just so you can see what this looks like in practice. So I will up to the front of the table. So we have information comes in through the webhook. All right, this is from a form. Once it comes in, we are going to identify whether the email that they provided us has a company domain. So you could see that this says is likely a company email, and it spits out the domain here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use a Clagent to analyze this website and pull out all the information that we would want to know about them to see whether or not they're a good fit. Then we're using another Clagent to analyze this website and really understand the products that they sell, understand the people that they serve, and then try to give us a estimated projection as to how large their market size is. So essentially what it's saying is, hey, we know you sell iPhones to regular consumers, and how many consumers do you think could be potential customers for the iPhone? And that's the number that it's giving us here. So it's estimating the total addressable market. Then it's going another step further and it's analyzing the website data to determine whether or not it thinks it's a competitor of ours. Because naturally, we don't want to speak to our competitors who are just snooping around. Then we do a LinkedIn profile search using their name and company name, and we figure out what their LinkedIn profile is. And in this instance, we did not get that far because we are not trying to enrich anyone who is a competitor. So here we do a LinkedIn profile search. We find their LinkedIn profile. And again, we're just using their name, email, and company name in order to do that. Once we have their profile, we are using the LinkedIn person enrichment so that we can get their job title here. Once we have their job title, that job title gets categorized into one of these categories right here. And then we get the company URL. And the reason why we're getting the company URL is so that we can find out the revenue information, the employee count, and things like that about the company. So now we're enriching the company. We're finding out where they're located, their total headcount, and things like that. Then here, it's analyzing the company data from the website scrape that we had done originally, and it's trying to identify whether or not it's B2B or B2C. And ultimately, it pulls it all together, and that's it. That is how the scoring system works. So to sum that up a little bit is, first, it starts off with creating a scoring logic. And again, you could use something similar to what I show you in this video, or you can just as easily develop it completely on your own because it is pretty simple. But I know sometimes doing something new can, we have these like mental roadblocks. So if you're not able to develop your own scoring framework, simply explain to ChatGPT or Claude what you want to do and some ideas on how you want to score it. And it'll help you develop this model, this scoring model, like we have in here, as to how much you should weight certain things and what things you should take into consideration and things like that. Once you have the scoring model, I like to start actually at the scoring model. So once you have the scoring model in place, then you want to work backwards from there and create the enrichments to get that information that you need so that you can develop the actual score. And that's exactly what we did here. We came up with the scoring concept, and then we went and we created all these enrichments so that we got the information that we needed so that we can evaluate the companies in a way that was best for us. And again, this is going to vary from company to company and for potentially even product to product within the companies, because every product, every service, in theory, has different criteria that would make someone a good candidate or a bad candidate for that product or service. So that is what I wanted to show you in this video today. Let me get out of here. Anyways, I hope this was helpful. I hope that you're able to see that it's actually really, really straightforward. As long as you don't let yourself get overwhelmed by the project, just take it step by step by step. Start with the scoring framework, come up with some ideas, consult with your colleagues, consult with AI, just put some pen to paper, and then from there you just go build up the enrichments one by one to get the information that you need in order to develop the score. From there, you push it into your CRM and you're good to go. And that is how you can maximize your sales rep's time using a simple scoring strategy. Anyways, hope that helps. And if you have any questions, as always, just shoot me over a comment and I'll be sure to reply, or send me an email, also sure to reply there too. And I'll see you on the next video. Take care.